Honestly, I didn't expect such numbers. From an average of 108 frames per second to 135. That's a significant increase. Overall, the FPS has become more stable, movements are smoother, and the game feels lighter and more enjoyable. The FPS drops in intense scenes. It lags so much that sometimes it's just impossible to play. So what to do about it? I've already closed all tabs, even turned off Discord, but the FPS is still lacking. I've tried everything to boost FPS, watched tons of content on YouTube, tested dozens of settings myself, reinstalled Windows 3 times, dealt with BitLockers, lost my nerves, and still the result was so-so. And after so many experiments, I can say that most guides don't really work, or give such minimal gains that you don't even feel it. But there are a few options that actually make a difference. And today, I'll tell you about the methods that really help me. And I'll show you one tool that almost no one talks about, but it can make life much easier. So, what do we have? We have a Rust game. That's not optimized. I'm on Windows 11, which itself consumes a lot of resources, and this all needs to be optimized somehow. But even with that, good FPS is still far off. My CPU is loaded only 40%, the graphics card about 70%, and the FPS is unstable and constantly fluctuating. And here arises the question, why isn't the system giving its maximum? To avoid empty words, I ran tests before taking any action. And now we'll see what FPS I start with, and then how much it can be increased. It turns out Rust has 5 biomes. In my 8,000 hours of play, I honestly just found this out now. Well, it happens. Let's start with the desert. Here, the average is around 130 FPS. In the forest, the situation isn't as rosy. On average, it's around 103 frames per second here, but there was a moment when it dropped to 77. Next is the winter biome. The numbers are better here, averaging 120 frames per second, and it's comfortable to play. In the jungle, the situation is also quite good. The average result is around 108 frames per second, and overall the game feels stable. By the way, I did all these measurements on my laptop, so the numbers might differ for others, but it gives a general picture. I'll duplicate all the results at the end, and so you don't have to try to remember them right now. And the last biome is the Tundra. At first I thought of not including it, but decided that it wouldn't be extra for the experiment's integrity. So, the Tundra averaged around 115 frames per second. An important point, all these measurements were done in full HD quality on ultra settings. Now I'll tell you about a program that can save those whose Rust is lagging or constantly dropping FPS. It's called Honor. Its essence is simple. In a few clicks, you can disable unnecessary Windows functions and free up more resources for gaming. Those with weaker computers will especially feel it. The increase is really noticeable there. The game loads faster, fewer freezes, and stable FPS. If you have a powerful system, the increase might not be as significant. But even then, Honor helps make Windows lighter and cleaner. To install Honor, you can follow the link in the description or just search for it. Then you reach the official site, where you're greeted by a big download button. Click on it. When the program downloads, open it. Here you can choose a language or proceed right away. Then choose a folder for installation. Check the box for confirmation and confirm again. After this, the installation begins. I sped it up in the video, but it'll be quite fast for you too. Then we're greeted by the main menu of Honor. First, you need to click through all the warnings, and then we enter the interface. It's simple here. Click the biggest button and it takes you to the tab with all optimizations. In the general section, I'll go briefly because under each function it's already explained what it does. There's also an advanced settings tab. Personally, I don't recommend going there, but if you want, you can try. Maybe you can squeeze a bit more FPS there. I haven't experimented myself. In the next window, boost up. Here you can optimize drivers and some programs. Next is the tab with games you have installed. The 5th tab is responsible for BIOS optimization, but you need to be extremely careful here. And lastly, there's integrated AI that will help you figure out functions and guide you if something is unclear. Returning to the main menu. I recommend making a backup. This way you'll save your settings and can restore them if something goes wrong. Then you can move on to the main FPS boost. To do this, choose the game. In our case, it's Rust. And here we have 2 options. A free boost, which gives a decent increase, which I used for a long time, and a paid one that unlocks maximum potential and gives the biggest FPS boost. To activate the preset, you need to click the yellow button and then wait. And finally, to apply all changes, you need to restart your computer. After the restart, the system has fully applied all changes from Honor, and now we can finally see what has actually changed. Red text shows FPS before, green shows after, desert. The image remains stable without sudden jumps. The average frames per second increased by about 10 frames. Well, you can really feel it. Forest. The movements are slightly smoother and the reaction is faster. FPS didn't skyrocket, but we got a steady +7 average frames. Tundra. There used to be frequent stutters here, but now the image remains steady even under load. The minimum FPS is 1 to 2 frames lower, but the average has increased and you can see it directly in the video. Winter biome. Snow effects no longer drop the FPS, the minimum value is slightly lower, but the average is consistently higher by a few units. Jungle. One of the toughest biomes in Rust. But even here, Honor showed its full strength. Honestly, I didn't expect such numbers from 108 average to 135. That's a very significant increase. Overall, the FPS has become more stable, the movement smoother, and the game itself feels lighter and more enjoyable. So try it out and share your impressions. If there are a lot of comments and likes, get ready for part 2. There, I'll show all the secrets that didn't fit into this video.